Hey there. This video, I'm just going to let you know, is going to be frustrating to many of you. One, Trish, because I'm wearing a hat. She hates me wearing a hat. A lot of people will say, I'm driving, you shouldn't be doing that. You should pay attention to the road. Well, I'm already talking to myself anyway on this drive across I-70. So I might as well push record and just not even maintain eye contact. But some of you will not totally understand how my brain works, and it's not totally linear. I go from point to point in a reasonable way that normal people do, and it just bounces around. And so that's kind of how my brain has been this morning. I'm headed back from Kansas City, headed to Nashville, and then on over to Virginia to go back home. I came over to Missouri this week to celebrate my mom's birthday. Tomorrow she turns 69, so all of us kids got together yesterday at their house, celebrated, and my dad's there. He's an amazing guy, but he and I don't really see life the same way. We don't have a lot of the same interests, but in a way that I've heard a lot of stories go, the older son gets, maybe the more like their dad they become. I shouldn't have said that, because now I gotta drive. I can't cry. But even though my dad wears cowboy boots and Wranglers, and he's a good old boy, he's a cancer survivor. He loves my mom, he loves us, he's amazing. So I can't claim that I'll ever be like as awesome as he is, but there's one way I'm becoming like him. I'm starting to take an interest in music that I know when I was younger that I absolutely hated. Country music. Now, if you know me, you know that I listen to all kinds of music, but I hate country. But every time I say that, I have to clarify what I mean. What I mean is really any country music from the 90s to today. It's really pop music with a steel guitar thrown in and whatever. It's garbage. Sorry, Carla, I know you like it. A lot of people like country music, so I won't say that. But I've always liked Southern gospel and bluegrass. I really like the pure sound, no distorted guitar, and good lyrics, strong vocals and harmonies. But when I was younger, I hate country, and I was always associated what my dad was listening to with country, like as a whole, without really delineating between time periods of country and types of country. He wouldn't and still doesn't listen to anything probably newer than 1970. But when I was 10, 11, 12 on, I remember him playing his records. I didn't know these people. I'm still just finding out who they are, and sorry about the shaky cameras, but I know he listened to Ray Price often. That's really shaky. And I still remember just the phrase, warm and tender body. I don't know what that song is or anything. I know he had Merle Haggard, George Jones. These people I never heard of, and I really haven't been interested in in the music really until recently. really come to appreciate it. And I do have to blame that on the mountains. You know, when you're driving from Virginia, as you go west, you go into mountains. And I feel compelled. It's not even an intentional thing like, oh, the mountains are here, I've got to do this. But is there something that happens when I get to the mountains? I have to listen to country music. And I'll start saying country western because it's like pre-1980 stuff. There's some 1980s as well, but listen to country western, and then depending on where I am, there's some other things that aren't exactly country, but hey, they're country enough to me. For example, if I'm going up 64 highway through West Virginia, you know what song I'm singing? Yep, John Denver. Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia. See, I don't even have to sing it because it's already in your head. But I wasn't going through West Virginia. This time I went down to Raleigh, North Carolina to meet a friend, and so I worked my way through the western part of North Carolina and the Smoky Mountains. Anybody guess what song I have to listen to? Yep. Smoky Mountain rain keeps on falling, keep on calling her name. It's not really country, but that's Ronnie Milsap. I love his songs. I've always loved his music. I even remember seeing like one of those long ads advertising his greatest hits album stuff. I actually didn't know he was blind until like pretty late in life. I don't know how I missed that, but love his music. Smoky Mountain Rain is playing yesterday. No way, whatever day it was. It's all running together. I think it was Friday, and I had Amazon Music on. Sometimes I listen to Spotify, sometimes Amazon, and so it said play artists similar as this, artists we think you like, or something like that. Well, it played artists that were not similar to Ronnie Milsap. Ronnie Milsap, I would consider like adult contemporary, like middle of the road stuff. It was playing like old stuff, people I'd never heard of, that I can't even tell you the name now because I've already forgotten, because I don't know what they are. But I know George Jones was one of them. And like I said, I knew my dad listened to it, but I turned on this song, or the song that came on was He Stopped Loving Her Today. Dude, I was bawling. Yes, that song is so good, such a good story. It is a simple lyric, just a great story. If you haven't heard it, check it out, man. Just YouTube or Spotify, Amazon, whatever you use. He Stopped Loving Her Today. And there were songs just back to back, like really simple music. The instruments, like sometimes it would just be a guitar, and I loved them. So last night, you know, I knew I would be heading out this morning, so I visited with my parents for about 2.5 hours. We spent the entire time talking about country. And my dad's knowledge of country music, going back to like the father of country music, I can't remember who he said that was, but he needs to write a book or something, man. He knows it all. He knows it all, and he has life stories. Like he remembers. It was just amazing talking about all that stuff. And one of the conversation, well, like part of the conversation was on Willie Nelson. And I know we're on 10 minutes here. You can get off if you want. You can stop listening. But I've still got like 6 more hours to drive today. It won't be that long, but my dad started talking about Willie Nelson, and I've never really cared for Willie Nelson. I know he was on We Are the World. We Are the World. Awesome. Never really liked his voice. I've loved the times where he's been on like Saturday Night Live. Funny guy. But it's very interesting to find out that not only did Willie Nelson sing a lot, he had a lot of hits that he wrote, like Crazy by Patsy Cline was written by Willie Nelson. No clue at all. So it was really interesting to hear my dad talk about Willie Nelson, and I had just read Kenny Rogers' autobiography. Love Kenny Rogers. He was like one of my top 5 favorite artists of all time. Is he a country artist? I don't know. I'll let you decide. Because when you have a song that comes out that goes number 1 in 4 different genres, it's hard to define exactly what style he was. I'll call him a country singer. But in Kenny Rogers' autobiography, it's Luck and something like that. Luck or something like that is what it's called. He briefly talks about Willie Nelson and stuff. So for whatever reason, when I set out this morning, having read Kenny Rogers talking about Willie Nelson, hearing my dad talk about Willie Nelson, and then this morning I was talking to Trisha's parents, and I was telling them my newfound knowledge of these country things, and they knew it all too. I'm like, how do people know this stuff? Like, people know country music. It's so weird because it's kind of a new part of my world. It's like a parallel universe, really. So I hopped in the car. I was like, I'm gonna listen to Willie Nelson. Well, here's the part that's strange, that I have no idea how, but a couple hours into it, I noticed that I had moved on from Willie Nelson. I cannot explain how I got there, but I was listening to Sam Harris, not a country singer at all. Sam Harris, I remember seeing on the TV when I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old. He was on Star Search, Ed McMahon's show that started in 1983. I remember each week watching Sam Harris, the grand champion male vocalist, competing on that show. We'd watch it at my grandparents' house. They'd have a TV apartment for those of the family. I want to be clear, okay? I know it was an apartment, but there was a in the corner. There's a TV on top of this cart. I remember watching. I watched a lot of stuff on that. The first time I saw Dirty Dancing was on that, but it was usually Disney shows, stuff like that. I don't know why Dirty Dancing was on. Anyway, that's random. But I remember watching Star Search every week and seeing Sam Harris sing, and then we actually had his album on cassette, and I vaguely remember that. Our car had a tape player in it, so we listened to that, along with DeGarmo and Key and Petra and Amy Grant and other stuff. So we had this Sam Harris cassette, and I have no idea how we got from Willie Nelson to Sam Harris. No idea. But I started thinking, like, Star Search. Like, I only remember watching that one season. But apparently it's been on. It was on for like 13 seasons. And I checked out who was on it. I'm like, were there any like popular? Because Sam Harris isn't popular. I don't hear his music at all on the radio. The list of performers who were on Star Search among different categories: comedians, male vocalists, female vocalists, group vocals, spokesmodel, dancers. It's like a who's who of pop culture for the last 40 years. I can't remember them all, but the Backstreet Boys were on it. Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Tiffany, Adam Sandler, Kevin James, Norm Macdonald, Sharon Stone, Dave Chappelle, Usher. The list goes on of who was on the show. And I was like, I don't remember watching beyond Sam Harris winning, singing Over the Rainbow. But it's amazing just how music can connect people over the years, from a TV show to reading an autobiography to sitting down talking with your parents, your in-laws, documentaries that are popping up now. Music is history, as Questlove wrote. Looking forward to reading his history of rock music from 1971 on. Music is history, both in our lives. I can tell you the moments of my life by the songs I listen to in each of those moments. And it's taken me over 15 minutes to say this, but I love music, not just the pure pleasure of listening to it, just listening to the rhythms and the melodies, harmonies, the different decades in which instruments were involved in making those sounds, and apart from the actual music itself, are these stories of how people are connected and how people share in the music. And it's been amazing. I mean, this trip, it's a fast trip. I drove over, took 2 days to drive over here, and then spent a day in Kansas City, and then it'll take 2 or 3 days to get back because I'm going to Nashville. I might go to the Country Music Hall of Fame tomorrow. I don't know. But it's been amazing to be able to share music with different people. Our family, each of us likes, not just me and the girls and Trish, but like my brothers and my sister and parents, in-laws. We all like different things. But we can all share in it. I mean, sometimes we literally will share a song and send a song to you. Be like, this is a beautiful, powerful song you should listen to. Or like, wow, have you ever heard this song? For example, and this is the last story, I swear, I had no idea that, and I just said I hate 90s to today country music, but I did go through a Garth Brooks phase in high school. I liked a girl who, this is pre-Trish by the way, liked a girl who really liked Colin Ray, country music guy from back then. So I really tried to like that music, and I was like, I'll just listen to Garth Brooks, and I never really could get it. And that girl and I didn't last very long anyway, so that's cool. Glad we broke up because I don't have to listen to country music, 90s country music. But I went through this Garth Brooks phase. Even had a cassette. I don't even know what album it was. Two of a Kind, working on Full House. That's horrible, but I think that song was on it. But the other night, I'm driving, and I pull up Garth Brooks' live album, and of course I listen to Friends in Low Places. And if you're from Kansas City, that's kind of, you have to, that's like our song, like the song at every Chiefs game. And whatnot. But I was listening to that, and then I do like the song Thunder Rolls. It's a good story. It's just a good story. It's a sad story, but not as sad as it became, because there's a third verse to that song. I had no clue. What are we talking, like 30 years later? And I was like, what? Yeah, there's a third verse where, because the guy cheats, the girl will say takes vengeance on him. And so I just texted my sister, like, why didn't anybody tell me? Like, that's how it ends. And it's something small, something trivial, but I literally shared that moment with my sister through music. That's the amazing power of music. And I know it's been 21 minutes on this video, so I'm going to wrap it up. But music's so powerful, and for all my family and friends, my apologies if you listen to modern day country. Yeah, you do you. So my apologies about that, but I love that we can all share music, whether it's songs from the past or a new song pops up, and that's the power of music to connect each one of us. So thanks for listening. I'm guessing there are only like 3 of you that probably listen to this whole thing, but yeah, those are my thoughts while I'm driving, and I'm actually going to keep listening to the Sam Harris album. It's pretty good.